It's Nolan. Now, before we get started, make sure y'all hitting that like button. Make sure y'all sharing it on your respective platforms. Let somebody know what we're doing today. Now, let's get into the show. Yeah, taking it serious, life changed in the blink of an eye. Hello to my son, the same day I'm sending goodbyes. I've been on my grind since shake high, riding these bass lines. Finding comfort with the gray skies, watch how I take mines. I'm with the armory, leaving poverty. Niggas been calling me, only speaking the blood like arteries. Guess I'm honorary, ought to be with the ghosts. Pen scripted with ghosts, meticulous practice, cognitive dissonance for the coast. Atlanta taught me well, keep the 808s in a large Chevelle. My lines punching like Whitaker, it's the God Purnell. I never age, I'm like a for real. Shit that I write in the grill gives me the license to ill. For the new year, I'm only touching more classics and making them. For the cash, I've been draining them. My rhythm circadian. These my signature cadences. Y'all been them and ate them. Chick-fil-A them, innovative. Need my shit up in them stadiums. I've been underrated. Rolling humble, I played it like a film. I'm at a point I need a status coming like a deal. My bank told me you were like a meal. Niggas pushing rock, it was like a meal. Being soldier, life is real. How many niggas you know that could do this? Justice, open discussion. I'm sick of niggas. Get some Robitussin and flow discussing. Keep up holding, bustin', take your hole and shove it. Fuck your bitch. Y'all been known for cooking. I got motion in my subdivision. Ain't no 22s in my atoms. I've been a factor, but the truth get redacted. From a city where they pumping balls. Ain't no shooting the basket, just shooting the bastard and spinning bandicoots been crashing. What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. Hope everybody's doing well out there this Tuesday. So we got the New York Times who came out with this new list. And of course, like I said the other day with Complex, we're going to see a lot of different publications coming out with different lists throughout the year. It's their way of creating talking points, buzz, keeping themselves out there, et cetera, et cetera. But the New York Times came out with their 30 greatest American living songwriters. Okay. And living is a huge caveat because we have so many different legends that have passed away who have music who will continue to live on beyond them and us, right? But at this current time, they chose to document the greatest living songwriters that we have available to us today. Okay. And on that list, we actually got some hip hop representation, which I thought was great. I thought that was amazing because a lot of times when these songwriting conversations happen, you don't get a lot of hip hop representation, even though it does take a lot, you know what I mean, to be a proficient hip hop artist. Not just somebody who sells records, not just somebody who is popular among the youth, but somebody that's actually prolific, somebody that's actually profound, somebody that's actually going to stand the test of time at the end of the day when the music stops, right? It takes a lot. So I was very pleased to see that we had some hip hop folks on there. You know what I mean? We had Kendrick Lamar, we had Jay-Z. They got a whole interview out with Jay-Z surrounding this. I'm gonna watch it. Hopefully, we don't get any issues with the interview in this video. We got OutKast on there. Young Thug made it, which I find to be very interesting. But I do think that Young Thug, some of his older music, he did tap into some creative genius. I'm not gonna say he was like a lyrical mastermind or anything like that, but some of the things that he was able to do in the recording booth and conveying his emotions and his style and the voice octaves and all that different type of stuff, he definitely tapped into some things. You got Missy Elliott on there, of course, who's in hip hop, R&B, pop, just a fucking force all around. So again, I love to see that hip hop was in this 30 because they could have easily just went with whoever they wanted to and kept us out. And I'm glad they didn't. All right. So let's go ahead and go through the list and then we're going to get to the Jay-Z interview. All right. So they say more than 250 music insiders and 6 New York Times critics weighed in on who defines the new American songbook. Here in an unranked list are the artists they chose. So this is not in any specific order. It's just the 30 and whatever order they happen to appear in. It's not a hierarchy, okay? So first up, we got Nile Rodgers. Let me see if I can make this just a little smaller. And as much as I would like to move myself out of the way of some of this text, they're going back and forth. So it's really going to be no winning to the situation unless I just keep moving myself out the corner to the other corner. But we'll keep going. Now Rogers, the title tells the story. Good times, I want your love, lost in music, everybody dance. My feet keep dancing, dance, dance, dance. Shout out to Now Rogers. Been around for a very long time. Can't take anything away from him. You know what I'm saying? But we not really here for that. You feel me? So we're gonna give everybody their acknowledgement, but we know who we came here for. We got Lucinda Williams on here. Okay. I'm not even familiar with Lucinda Williams personally, but hey, congratulations. Stevie Wonder, yeah, you gotta do it. You got to do it. I'm not a biter, I'm a writer for myself and others. You know what I mean? As you can see, they talk about Aretha Franklin, Shaka Khan, Michael Jackson, the whole nine, not to mention his own fucking classics. Gotta give love to Stevie. And here we got Jay. We're gonna circle back to Jay for his interview, but we're gonna get through the artist first. No words need to be spoken. You feel me? Paul Simon, another person who's been around for a very long time. Hella long time. Taylor Swift made the list. All right, Swifties, y'all got some representation. I don't listen to enough Taylor Swift music to say that she's a legendary songwriter, but they felt that she should be on here. So congratulations. Brian and Eddie Holland. Okay. Let's take a moment to try their damn. So they wrote for the Supremes. That's classics. Damn. Made 2 Apex, Martha and the Vandellas records. Kim Weston's Take Me in Your Arms, Free the Pain. Marvin Gaye. That's just the tip of the iceberg. And of course, if you want to read these whole passages, they have full on like articles on each of them. But again, for the sake of time, we stick it to the hip hop shit. So we got Missy Elliott. Woo! Ain't that her ad lib? And you know, she's put in work. Solo music, Aaliyah music, fucking Sierra, SWV, Total, goddamn Swing Mob. Like, come on, man. It's just too many eras of Missy. Songwriting Missy, producing Missy, feature Missy, solo Missy, sing your hook Missy. Come on, man. Lionel Richie, definitely. Dolly Parton. Shout out to Dolly. She gave a lot of love to Beyonce during her country Cowboy Carter transformation. And she got hella shit on her own too. Thugger. He a little out of place. I ain't gonna lie. Would you stack him up next to some of these motherfuckers on here, man? Young Thug definitely looks like the little brother who had to come outside. You can't go without your brother now. Diane Warren. Yeah. Generational music. Josh Osborne, Brandy Clark, Shane McNally. I guess they're a whole group. So they write out in Nashville, Music Row. Gotcha. I'm not familiar, but I do see some of the names on there. Fiona Apple, for sure. Been around for a minute. Babyface, yeah. Shit, Babyface, he producing and writing on the new Kalani shit, man. Talk about somebody still active after doing it at the height of the game. Babyface still putting it down. We got Stephen Merritt. I don't know this gentleman, but he out here doing his thing since the 90s, they say. Romeo Santos, I'm not familiar. Carole King, yup. OutKast, my dogs. That's my dogs. That's my dogs. If anybody asks you who they is, just say that's my dog. Mariah Carey, absolutely. Absolutely. Still doing it too. Too many hits. We got Willie Nelson, another one. Another one. And finally, we get to Kendrick Lamar. We get to K-Dot. You know what I mean? We get to motherfucking Mr. GNX himself, Mr. Morale himself. So they say Kendrick Lamar's songs hunger to mean, hold on, Kendrick Lamar's songs hunger to mean more than everybody else's. They're x-rays of his behavior and also yours. They're vivifications of Compton, California, his psychic epicenter. They do passion, sex, recrimination, uplift, let down, guilt, pride, money's elemental contagion with vulgarity, ruthlessness, and heart. He's rapacious and voracious. The songs often have bigger eyes than their stomachs. Huh? What you mean by that? What you mean by that? The songs often have bigger eyes than their stomachs. That typically when you say that about somebody, you would say, you know, you got you a big ass plate and your eyes was bigger than your stomach. Like you couldn't actually finish your shit. You couldn't fully digest everything, so you still have so much left to be desired on the fucking plate. Why would he be in the top 30 greatest American songwriters alive if y'all gonna come out here and say the nigga got bigger eyes than his motherfucking stomach? That's crazy. So basically, what they trying to say is his songs typically reach to a level that he's not actually attaining, which I find to be very interesting. Like he's overly ambitious, but doesn't always land it. I would disagree. But we'll continue. But Lamar's velocity reflects his ambition. The rhymes hurtle out at double and triple time. The rapping matches the writing, pure spandex, sometimes with absurd leaps into anxiously higher vocal registers. Try Feel from Damn, one of his best joints. When niggas be trying to play, Feel is that one, nigga. The music driving these songs often combines pop, rock, soul, funk, crunk, street corner church, bounce, and quiet storm. On something like it's most of those at once. Still another one of the greatest songs that he's made that honestly got underrated when it dropped. But you know, a hip hop artist at the peak of his career, at the peak of his celebrity, coming out with a song called I Love Myself, you know, sometimes people try to say that's corny. Lamar recombines himself too, from different points of view, his parents, his women, his subconscious, his people, his enemies. There's what they call conscious rap, music determined to stroll sidewalks rather than thrive in the streets. Then there's what Lamar is up to, subconscious rap. He's our great out-of-body rapper. The songs are these one-man shows of self-reckoning. Lamar's writing loves a mirror and wreaking havoc. Occasionally, they reckon with havoc, or their brutal reenactments of it, the way he and the actress Taylor Page do with stunning vulgarity on We Cry Together. I'm going to finish out the rest of this passage. Lamar might also be our most ideological practicing rapper, condemning those he has judged as inauthentic, opportunistic, insufficiently modest, as peers, as men, as black men. Why y'all bringing the beef into this? 2 springs ago, he and Drake found themselves doing battle in what was essentially a songwriting contest that took a turn. The expediency of their exchanges back and forth over a couple weeks electrified the planet, especially the mounting viciousness of Lamar's attack ad hominem all the way. Some of what riveted us was that we didn't know Lamar quite had this in him. Short order anthems full of murderous overreaction, dogged spite, the profound, and the petty. I'm still trying to understand why that battle is being mentioned. I'm sure when we go through Jay-Z's artist index, it ain't going to be talking about him going at Nas or the other people he may have shot at throughout his career. He tasked himself with the job of laying waste to the biggest, most elastic hip-hop artist on earth, exorcising him from the culture on charges of fraud. The sense that this whole affair somehow felt beneath Lamar speaks to the loftiness of his artistry, the hill of Grammys, a career upon the summit of critics' listen polls, a Pulitzer Prize in 2018, which also makes the whole eyes bigger than his stomach thing seem very interesting, because what rapper we know got a Pulitzer Prize? How many of the artists on this list outside of just put it in the music context alone have a Pulitzer Prize for their music? Anyway, why would he be here at the gallows doing headsman work? Because he could, as in because he was capable. He emerged from that war not only more popular, but more aware of his power as a writer, newly thrilled by it. Y'all feel like he was newly thrilled by it, or did y'all just not really know Kendrick Lamar? Some of y'all just don't know Kendrick. You barely know yourself, so I guess you should be offended. You doing this for my health? You know what I mean? What the fuck y'all talking about? It has always been clear that Lamar could write personally and therefore politically, but over the last decade, that intelligence has only sharpened. The songs don't feel thought out so much as they seem to be thinking right there on the spot. What? The great rappers tend to work with that kind of immediacy. Lamar, though, stuffs his songs with more ideas, more evolution than you'd find on a single album by another musician. You can hear someone on a journey of discovery, looking at the person he is and sometimes at the people we are. He's evolving at warp speed. So yeah, sometimes the wheels come off and the chassis is gone, but there's Lamar still going, like one of those cartoons where a character's driving nothing but himself and a steering wheel, exposed yet also free, daring to go too far to someplace new. Wesley Morris. That was interesting, because it was like giving him his flowers, giving him his credit, while also finding some weird critiques to throw in there at the very same time. Weird critiques. I don't mind critiques if you're going to give that same level of critique to every writer on the list. Now, just a once over, looking at these other artists, the other 29 or so, or I don't even think we've gotten through all the other ones, but the ones leading up to him, I didn't see any critiques about their writing, personally. So I find that to be very interesting. Next up on here is Valerie Simpson. Oh, wow. Ain't No Mountain High Enough. Damn, that's a classic in itself. Bob Dylan. Who else is on here? Lana Del Rey, shout out. The Dream made the list. All right. Fuck that nigga. I ain't mad at that. Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, you couldn't have a list without them. Bet you ain't gonna find no critiques about they writing. Bad Bunny. Now I'm all for equality. You know what I'm saying? I'm all for equal opportunity, but has he put enough down to be in the 30 greatest songwriters alive? I don't know. You tell me. Bruce Springsteen, do we put Bad Bunny in that type of company? Smokey Robinson? Okay. But shout out to everybody who made the list. Now we're going to go ahead and get back to Jay-Z, because he actually did an interview speaking. All right, so we're about to get into Jay-Z and his songwriting process, his early days of actually writing on paper, and of course, eventually he stopped doing that altogether.
The first time I wrote a rhyme that I thought I could do it was, I'm the king of hip-hop, renewed like the Reebok, the key in the lock with words so provocative, as long as I live, I'll be... When I caught that pocket, I was like, oh, I got this.
That was some self-fulfilling prophecy he said in them early rhymes, too.
My early years, I had this big green notebook. My mom had got me this notebook, and I was just writing, and it would be sideways and slanted and just like a mess. And I was writing really small because I didn't want any.
That's how Eminem writing his shit. Y'all remember that that thing they did on the news years ago where he would write in the corners of the shit and it'd be all slanted and it just be a bunch of chicken scratch all throughout the page. They say it looked like an insane person. He said that's how he started.
I to read what I was writing. In my teenage years, I moved further away from the house. And as I moved further away from the house, it was hard to like hold these things. I had to retain these thoughts. I didn't write anymore in that little green notebook. I wish I had it, man. I'm really, I never kept up with things. That's a whole different experience. I tell you about that. That was the first time I made a demo. Jazz and Big Daddy Kane in Brooklyn were the two guys at that moment. And the connector was Fresh Gordon. You know who Fresh Gordon is?
I know because I've read about him.
Oh, okay. Fresh Gordon was a super connect. Everyone used to be in his house. Fresh Gordon actually really, I believe, did the Push It beat and sold it for like $5,000. That's the folklore. I don't know if it's true. But you go to Fresh Gordon house and Marky D be there, Pepper, and then he had like all the computer equipment. His house was beautiful, incredible. So anyway, in that house, the two guys were gonna meet up. They was gonna make what we call a mixtape now. And everyone was talking about, who's that kid? And so Kane was like, I want to work with you. And I made a demo with Kane. And it was the first time I was like, oh, I can make songs. And that was I played for my uncle. He's like, man, get that shit out of here. I was like, I'm gonna be better than LL Cool J. He's like, get the fuck out of here. But my uncle loved me. He just...
Very interesting, LL, him and Jay got that rivalry thing, man. I don't think LL did an interview in a while where he don't throw a couple, you know what I mean, at L. Even when they saw each other at the Grammy, what's good, baby? Mm-hmm. Yeah, what's good, baby? Still had that in the back of his head. Yeah, that nigga think he better than me. That fucking competition, man.
He was protecting me in that moment the way he could, because I was dreaming too big for him. He was like, let me let you down. It don't happen like that in life. After 96, all the material that's on Reasonable Doubt was pretty much already in my head. The thing about that album is the freedom in it and how naive I was. I didn't know anything about the music business. I wasn't trying to make the greatest song or, Streets is Watching. The third verse is 68 bars. It's not 16 structured bars that I know is be palatable for the audience.
That's not on Reasonable Doubt.
What I was thinking during Reasonable Doubt was when my guys hear this, it's gonna be their mind's gonna be blown because we just left Vegas and this tells the story of our whole trip. They're gonna go crazy. This story that we just completed and now we're back home, they're hearing on wax. That was it. I was trying to make music for guys who were in the street and living just like us to have a soundtrack to, the emotions that we were dealing with. Not just the highs, not the Lexus and thing. That was part of it, yes. That's the eye candy, the Lexus with the TV sets but the interior feelings and emotions was really what I was trying to accomplish as a writer. How do I go even deeper to I'm gonna tell you what you were thinking when you were doing that. Because it was exactly what I was thinking. I know exactly how you felt in that moment when you felt that paranoia or that exhilaration, whatever it was.
I've been around this block too many times, rock too many rhymes.
Most times I come up with the flow first. You may have heard people he does his Rain Man in the studio. Because I'm I'm trying to work out the pockets and then I'll fill it with words. What Biggie had was a jazz pocket that we didn't really know we was listening to until later on. One of his neighbors was this jazz musician who would take him to shows and things like that. We knew Rakim was come from a jazz background, right? So we understood I got to tell every lyrical demo, down. So he's mimicking a horn, But Biggie was so unorthodox that it was like, jeez.
We're gonna get to the Biggie shit, but I really appreciate them honing in on like his influences musically and being able to like get into his music mind, because we don't really get a lot of this from Jay-Z, right? He don't really speak. He don't really come outside. Well, he come outside, but he don't come outside for us. He comes outside for his family and his business ventures and things of that nature. So to hear, you know, how he perceives hip hop and the musical creation in the process, and you kind of get to see his depth when it comes to music and stuff like that, I really appreciate it, because again, I think a lot of people have put Jay-Z in this category where they feel like he's just one thing. They always be like, oh, he's gonna rap about coke and crack or money or this or that. And it's like, yo, listen to the albums. You're gonna get that, but you're gonna get so much more out of it if you just go and listen to it with an open mind. And I think understanding that this dude is not only like studied in music, but also well read, I think it comes across differently. So I appreciate this stuff.
That's just jazz, you know, improv, what he was doing. I don't come from a musical family, like, you know, no instruments, but it was just so much music in the house that it just was innate in me to think musically as well as I thought lyrically. Even the first album, when I didn't know what I was doing, I listened to some of those pockets, and they all like melodic.
One day you're cruising in the 7, next day you're sweating, forgetting your lies.
Yeah, collaborations is important to me because again, it's almost like another ingredient, and let's see how we can create a song that is authentic to all of us. The artist wants the other person to have a great performance because you want a great record. You don't want to have a performance where you're just, you know, your verse is just obliterating someone and then, you know, no one wants to hear that verse. That's not good for the song itself.
Facts.
I'm a fan of songwriting, so I want to know that the outcome.
I love that he said that, because even in my collaborations with other rappers, like what I'll do on my songs, like if it's my song and I want to get somebody else on it to rap, I typically am not going to go into it with like trying to make the craziest verse ever. It's like I want to set the tone so that you could kind of get where we going with the song, but I really want to set the song up for when you come in, you take the song to the next level, right? Because people can hear me for the whole project, for the whole album, but for you, this is your opportunity within this window to showcase what you do. I'm going to do my part, but just do your part and some, you know what I mean? Because if you call me to get on your shit, I'm gonna do my shit and some.
I'm curious to see how this is gonna turn out. You know, what is Pimp C gonna say on this beat? You know, he didn't like that beat in the beginning. It was just like, hey, Jig, man, that's thing too fruity, man.
Fruity.
Like he thought he was making like the biggest commercial, like, sellout record, and he took some convincing. He still did the song. We actually was really cool once we met each other. I think he had 8 bars. I'm not sure, maybe 12. I think he had 12 bars. 12-bar verse that was like one of the most memorable verses on a song. Cause me and Bun is like, it's the big rap pick, but down, you know, we just did a triplet flow to it.
Big pimp and spin the cheese.
But he did the opposite. He wouldn't even, he cut it in like, I think quarter note, whatever. He cut it like smoke. When I was like, what is he doing? And then by the like 4th bar, I was like, oh my God. Just beautiful. Like on Brooklyn's Finest, I didn't get to hear that till maybe a month later. So I did all those little parts. I'm saying, what's your name? Who shot you? And Biggie filled those in. And when he was like, Faith had twins, she probably had 2 pox. I was just like, oh my God, it's just such a good line. It's just so good. And it was just so, he was one of those ones who ain't run from like controversy, whether it made him look bad or not. Like, you know, most people ego wouldn't allow him to say that. And it was like one of the endearing qualities that he had as a writer. You know, black and ugly as ever. And then the word, one word was so powerful. However.
Yeah.
Black and ugly as ever. However. Anything he said after that was going to be amazing. Those are little tricks as a writer that, you know, that everyone's trying to accomplish. I can't say everyone. That's that I'm trying to accomplish, like when I'm writing, is like just a word that just changes the framing of the thought in a powerful way in the shortest amount of time. Because that's hard to do. Like if you got unlimited, you know, God did verses, I'm gonna hit on something because I'm writing through so many pockets. I'm gonna hit on a bunch of things. But if I got 8 bars, you know, if you think about like fronting, like that was a very condensed, hard verse to write. You got 8 bars to convey your thoughts and get out of there.
Every time your name was brought up, I would act all nonchalant in front of an audience like you was just...
You know, those is when you gotta sit down and really just like, you know, make sure every measure counts.
Guess who's back?
It's a challenge for the pen, like when you're creating for someone else, and especially people that you respect. You know, Dr. Dre, I grew up obviously a fan of him and Snoop. You know, this is Dr. Dre coming off, you know, leaving Death Row. I know where he was trying to go because I've been there a couple of times with like Kingdom Come and those things. So he's trying to make, you know, he's like, I'm leaving this place and I want to mature. So for me, it was just natural to like get into his psyche. Like what would he be thinking right there? What would I be thinking? I would be thinking, I have to remind people that I'm Dr. Dre. That's where Still Dre comes, Still.
Dr. Dre is the name, I'm ahead of my game, still.
It's like a challenge for you as a creator. For me, that's where I really thrive, like when I'm challenged to like do a thing, to make a word mean more. It's triple entendre, quadruple entendre. That's when I feel like I'm at my best. You know, you can pin yourself in the corner and say, I'm gonna write a song about, you know, alcohol. And I'm gonna just like find clever, lyrical exercise is a better example. So now I'm just gonna take all these references, you know, about bars and sit-ups and chin-ups and things, and I'm gonna make it make sense, and it can't be corny.
Bring your squad, bicep, triceps, and quads.
Almost like a cooking show. These are the ingredients I got to work with.
Nigga.
I'm making this type of meal, and I have these sort of things, and that's it. You take one of your arms and you tie it behind your back. That's a challenge, but it's a challenge as a writer that you relish and you want.
What good is a menage a trois when you have a soulmate?
444 was, I mean, it was the toughest thing I had to write, and not lyrically, not the greatest metaphors I've ever created, but like the vulnerability and the honesty and transparency. That's hard. That's a difficult thing.
I suck at love, I think I need a do-over. I will be emotionally available if I invited you over.
But to do it for the entire album and to sit in that and like talk about real subjects and real talk about, you know, how your kids are gonna feel, and, you know, at some point you're gonna have to sit down and speak to them and all these different topics. That was the most difficult album that I had to write. The Niggas in Paris, I think that as a writer, those are like some of my best moments, the finest moment for me, the most rewarding. I wouldn't say best. My most rewarding moments is to make something that people just dancing to, having a good time. But the theme of it is just like, wow, you know, it still has the connotation of racism in it, how people look at you. And we know about the French relationship with Africa and their money and blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of deep things that's happening at one time. You mentioned like the story of OJ. It's like, this idea that once you've attained the success, you're a different person. Like you walk in as a different person. And I believe like OJ got to a point where he thought he was bigger than race. And he was like, no, I'm not black, I'm OJ. And it was like, okay, right? Because the moment you're not OJ.
And interestingly enough, unrelated to this interview, but that's the very thing that we critique Lil Wayne about. And we're seeing now how Lil Wayne is reacting to how he's perceived by the public, by festivals, by the Grammys, by different outlets and platforms that he wishes that he was currently being embraced by, and he's not. He's now getting a culture shock. He's now being faced with the immaturity that he was able to perpetuate of himself for decades, but now it's not being received within the same way. It's not being received in the same light. But he came out and said he didn't understand what racism was, although he's rapped about it, although he's done other interviews talking about people was racist. Is like he came out one day and was like, no, I've never experienced that. You know what I mean? So he kind of got a taste of that OJ shit too. And he ain't liking the way that motherfucking sandwich go down the drain.
We're going to see how that ends, right? Whereas, myself, I show up as myself. And writing that in the song, there's just like, there's a responsibility that I have. And I think everyone has that's come from certain places where we come from that just comes with it. That's just the responsibility you carry. Like when you walk in the room, you ain't walking in just a solo. You represent the history of what's been done in this country. And it don't have to be all loud. It's like every second of the day, but it's there. It's like air. The thing about B is she's actually an underrated songwriter. She really can write songs, but she does so much that I think what she gravitates towards is a producer. I think she likes songwriting. I never asked her this question. I'm gonna ask her this question, but I think she likes songwriting. She loves producing. Because the thing she does is unbelievable. It's like she'll hear a snare from a song that maybe we heard once a year ago, where she'll just pull a snare from somewhere, or like take this song and mix it with this song and then put that bridge over here, or, have a completely different song on a completely different beat and make it work for a whole other project. I'm watching that like, wow, inspired by, what she's doing. And I never really thought about that, but I'm almost sure like she likes songwriting, she loves producing. Yeah. Remember, hip hop was about the gift of discovery. That was it. I'm
gonna pause that for a second because, we don't know Beyonce to be like a traditional producer where she's in the studio like beat making. I don't think that's the style of producing he's talking about. That's more from like the curation side of it. You know what I'm saying? Like having the ideas, having the let's try this, let's blend this with this, let's mash this with this, let's take this song and put it over this track. Like that's more so the studio producer versus the beat maker thing. You know what I'm saying? But I know those words get used interchangeably, and producers are now looked at as the people that make the beats, make the arrangements, and all that different type of stuff, which is also part of producing, but just clarifying.
The school, you couldn't have the person that was already good. You have to say, yo, I got the new tape of somebody you never heard of. And it actually told the story of you. That's why hip hop became so big, because everyone wanted to feel those feelings. I tell people all the time, never fight against the future. The future's coming. Artists, they were trying to recreate something that was already done, but they're not connected to it like that. They're not living it and breathing it. They were fighting against gravity as opposed to telling their story. We needed that other side. We needed to hear about what happens when you've had 4 successful albums. What happens? What is that feeling like? How do you make the next one? How did you get in the studio? How are your kids? How do you interact with them as this hip hop dad? But if you're trying to make young music and you're not young, it's gonna be inauthentic, and people could feel that. You could smell it. So the best thing that anyone can do, like going through music, is to tell a story, and just keep creating from that space. I love what the Clips are doing right now, and how it's authentic to them, and they're telling the story about their mom and dad who just passed away, and how deep that is, with John Legend singing on the chorus, and everything that they've been through is an authentic display, a piece of classic material that it could have came out 96 or come out 2026. It still feels the same because it's real and it's authentic to who they are.
He was tired but not ready to go. Basically was dying without letting me know. I love you.
After Black Album, it was more so like, what do I want to say and what do I have to say? And what's the challenge in the writing Success hasn't changed my approach to making music. I've always felt like my aspirations were ahead of where I was currently. Even with all the success, I'm still like, no. This is where we belong. This is our place. I'm just 2 years ago was like fighting with the NFL to put Dr. Dre on. It's not fighting, but like convincing. It's like, y'all 30 years too late. Like, this is supposed to been happen. That emotion was from the first album to now. That fight to say, we're here, this is what we're about, and we're gonna get there, and this is what we deserve. Like I said, those are the ingredients that go in the song, whether it be about, a big yacht or the Lexus, bragging about money. Those are just props. That's not the engine. That's not the emotion that my music is running on. But once you get into the interior of the song, what you're hearing is the same thing you're gonna hear from, someone who has some integrity, morality, questions about religion, questions about who you are as a man, relationships, your legacy, your children, the fears that they're gonna have, whatever karmic debt that you put out there and how, that's gonna affect your family. Those are the real themes. My locations have changed, but who I am as a person and what I believe in, none of that's changed. Things I believe to be true, maybe young, I don't believe so much. A lot of street codes and things like that may have messed with our emotional intelligence. Money over hoes, that's a terrible concept. It sounds good. So yeah, some of those things change, but the foundation of the struggle, our fight to be recognized in a country that doesn't see us in that light. Those themes and emotions, I still try to convey them.
You feel it in, long as the villain win. I spend Japan yen to 10 major events.
Yeah, man, that's my dog. Some of y'all don't fuck with him, it's okay. My iguanas is biting. JAY-. All right? So once again, man, congratulations to everybody who made the list, even Young Thug, for the 30 greatest American songwriters living today. Really dope interview, very insightful, got a lot of information out of it. Big congrats to Kendrick Lamar, who made the list, although they had some very interesting talking points in his description that just came across a bit strange. So I see why he gave him that stale face ass selfie too. It's a clean ass picture, but I looked at it and I was like, damn, why he look mad? Now I see why he sent y'all that picture. He said, this is what y'all gonna say about me. Here you go, bitch ass niggas. Let me know what y'all think of all this down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, become an insider for these good hip-hop conversations, man. We definitely got to get back to the good hip-hop conversations and get away from some of the bullshit, but the bullshit is always calling. You feel me? So in order for us to keep having these conversations and to keep having them amplified and having them comfortably, y'all got to do y'all part too. You know what I mean? Like, share, comment, engage, help a nigga with the hype. You feel me? But I'm going to see y'all later. Much love and respect. I'll see y'all in a minute. Peace. Over fame in this bitch, yeah. The glory of living righteous is setting in. My street knowledge and education's a perfect blend. Young mogul, independent, I've been setting trends. The first one from my family to be faithfully wed. Fuck niggas and the horses that they riding on. I see this shit from all angles like a polygon. I'm never politicking, the drama be piling on. Father and great son acknowledged like I'm Bobby Bonds. Conversation with my lady about the paper route. 5 sit bank accounts every day I make it count. They down talking my commentary for hating now. Well, I can take it cause I'm bodying your favorite now, please. I can do this shit in my sleep. I been writing for these niggas, y'all read it and weep. I been fighting these niggas if you speak on the street. I turned your birthday party into New Year's Eve. Don't let me take it there. We ain't playing fair. This the ATL, Southside nigga moving furniture like Wayfair. Life on hold, no insurance for your healthcare. Lifeline gone, so you wanna be a millionaire? Well, let me tell you about this world I built. The women I dodged, the niggas that I read for filth. The sympathy calls, consulting for the stakes I built. I had